Hello, everyone. So let's start this. We are here in our first Agora Live Talks, promoted by Collective Warehouse. So hello, everyone. Thank you for passing by. I'm Ruben. I'm one of the members of Collective Warehouse. That is a collective that it's since 7 years. It's based in Lisbon, and we've been working in projects based on co-creation and engagement and participation. So because of that, we start this idea of having the Agora Live Talks, because we felt that this moment is an opportunity to reflect and to rethink a little bit the way we co-design and co-build our cities and mostly our public space. As always, we didn't want to do this by ourselves, so we invite other collectives and studios from Europe and that work mostly in Europe, and that also design and build projects not for citizens and communities, but with them mostly. This, for us, it's important to do this reflection with collectives that somehow share the values for collaboration and for participation with us. So this is the first of the first Agora Live Talks. To start, we have a series of 10 of these unserious talks about serious topics. And today, to start, we have our big friends from Zuluark, a Spanish studio that I think, yes, they are here already. So I'm gonna do my best digital skills to actually invite. Let's wait a bit for Manu to enter our live.
Hello.
Hello, Manu.
Hi. This is new
Welcome.
for me.
We are live on Instagram.
It's new for me, this thing. It's the
Yes.
first time ever to do this for me. I'm quite old now. And you've reached the perfect time because people just stop clapping. It's a wonderful day here in Galicia.
Ah, nice.
You're calling to La Coruña city, where we have from 2 years now a new office where I live now.
Okay. I thought that you were still in Madrid. No, not anymore.
No.
Okay.
No.
Spreading Zuluark.
I was living in Barcelona for years now.
Yeah, Barcelona
for 4 years.
too.
And 2 years ago, we moved here.
Well, welcome.
Because both my girl and I have Galician roots, and we just wanted to try something a little bit quieter.
Then Barcelona, for sure. Yeah, it is. So we have Manuel Dominguez. Manu, you are one of the founders of Zuluark.
Well, I'm working in Zuluark from 2003, since ever, but I was not the actual one of the actual founders. but I was there
since the beginning.
one and a half year later after the foundation.
Okay.
So thank you very much for inviting us. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for considering our experience to be interesting in this situation. I just wanted to say that it's been 7 years since we met. I went with the other Manuel. We were two Manuels in Lisbon 7 years ago for the Lisbon Triennale.
The other Manuel still have this big long.
Yeah, it's like mines, but they're real.
Okay.
And I have rescued this picture to show you. I wanted to show you when we met. Look.
That's me?
Probably. That's you.
Yes.
That's you. What do you think?
I was quite younger than now.
We all were. We had a fantastic experience there with you, and
so do I. Yeah. For us was also quite nice. As we talked already a couple of times, 7 years ago we were starting. So you kind of push us to. You were one of the ones that push us to this crazy path that we luckily we are able to continue, and we thank you for that you were one of the ones that show us like a different way of doing stuff. So for us it was nice.
Yeah, well, for us it was also a kind of a start. So I wanted also to say, I don't know if she's listening, but I wanted to thank also Ana Buono, that she was our contact there in Lisbon.
Yeah.
And I still talk to her. She's a very good friend, and she's living now in Ischia, and she has a terrible, perfect life. So I want to send her a kiss from here.
We send her as well a big kiss to Anna. So let's start this talk. First, just to know if you were until now in your pajamas or not.
Let me check. No. I'm okay. I'm in sweatpants.
I have my flip-flops. So
I'm in sweatpants, but I'm wearing shoes also, which is great at home because it's very easy to don't have a shower, be on your pajamas, or being directly naked.
You have to be.
So I took the chance today to have a shower.
Discipline, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. It's you have to.
So Manu, we want to talk a bit about more than about this situation that we are living now. Of course, we'll talk about it. But the idea of the Agora Life Talks is to think and to reflect a little bit on the after. So in this idea that we don't know the future, but we know that it's going to be a transition time until we find again how to deal with this stuff. But for now, we know that Zuluark, you are an open office, so you have people spread from different places in Spain, but also in other countries, right? So you are obviously you are used to the social distance somehow, and to be working using these digital tools that we have. But still, how is this affecting your teamwork? So how is
our teamwork? Yeah, it's strange. It's hard, but our teamwork in terms of a connection between us hasn't been really affected with that because we are a distributed office. It's open because, as we say, Zuluark is the one that wants to be Zuluark, so it's open. But it is distributed because we work wherever we are. So I live here in Galicia because I want, and because I live here is the place where I have an office. So it's not the other way around. Normally you move to a place because of work, and in Zuluark we want to say it's the other way around. So we take the work wherever we want to live. And that's why we are delocated. That's why we are distributed. So we've been working in Mexico, DF. We've been working in Brussels, in Berlin. I've been working in Barcelona and Coruña, as I said. And the original office is still in Madrid, where there are more quantity of people working there. And for us, all the infrastructure, it was already built and running. So it's the normal day. It's been like more than 10 years that we are permanently connected. We are very used to using all kind of digital tools to be communicated, and every day better and more efficient in our work, since we all work wherever we want. Mm-hmm. But the problem, of course, is that our forecast turnover, what we were expected to earn this year, has already fell about 70%. So for us, it's a risk for the structure, because we cannot. It's very difficult for us to keep paying our salaries. It's an opportunity to stay creative, to stay united, to be resilient. As I told you before, maybe to think different things, to think out of the box. But of course, it's difficult, it's tough, and it's not easy to deal with the situation. And you don't know if you have to keep working. You don't know if you have to stop working. You don't know if you have to start new things, or maybe to wait and be very conservative. But again, we are 10 people, and we are very used to work with each other and to put the collective in first place. Mm-hmm. So
well, for us, we have a different organization. As you know, we are based in Lisbon, so we have the core team is working in Lisbon. So for us, actually, now we are adapting to this distance, because normally we were quite together every day. So now we have to use all of these digital tools that actually in some of us and in some parts of the work, it's proving actually to be quite more productive, because we are super focused. We have our own rhythm of work. But in other parts, like for instance, when we are brainstorming to start a project, on that we still find it like very strange, because we are used to be together like every day. So, but as you were saying, it's an adaptation that we are doing, and I think that it's the clever part of it is actually to be able to learn from this experience, that probably we in the future in warehouse we can have people that are not so close to us, like physically, and still be part of the project of the collective. So so it's this, but then there's another thing that we felt, and I think that you felt as well, and for us it's a big reflection that we are doing now, is that okay, the collective, you can be in different places, but the type of approach and projects that you do, they need this proximity. So you have a lot of projects that you are actually for 1 week or 1 month with a group of citizens or a community. You are there trying to understand with them, like building their project or something like this. And for us, our reflection here in our office, it's a little bit of how to prepare ourselves to continue this approach that we feel that it's very powerful and needed in the cities, but that somehow you cannot do it now. So how are you dealing with this? Like, for instance, on your ongoing projects? Like
right now we cannot do it. Of course, we cannot step out of home. We cannot meet with clients or other collaborators. So what we do is things like this, like Agora Talks. Stay tuned, keep on learning. I mean, we try to write, we try to reflect, we try to prepare things for the future. Of course, we keep working because, for instance, some of us are professors at universities, and we keep on giving classes, of course. But it's very interesting how they are building. I mean, some solidarity networks are being built, new education models. We are learning and making how to make our stuff home. We are cooking. We are giving gym classes. I mean, I am fitter than ever.
Yes.
You know, I was wondering whether I was going to end up this confinement like with 30 or 40 more kilos. But in fact, I think I'm getting thinner. I don't know. I will check that. I don't feel I'm getting fatter. So yeah, it's a time to learn. It's a time to learn new stuff and to connect with things that you didn't like this. No, I've never done an Instagram live. So I always wondered, but I never had the time. So now I have the time to do it and to learn. It's time to network. There is no other chance. And after we learn this, we will take this again to the street.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah. We, like, for instance, the other day we were like in the middle of this, we were doing a proposal for the municipality that here in Lisbon that they asked us for a project. And then it was this, so we were in this position. Should we continue with the proposal or not? Like, what should we do? And then on the brainstorm of the team, there was this idea that come up that we still don't know if it's just a stupid idea or if it's actually something that could be used. That we actually deliver a proposal with two options. So we identify tools for participation because it's for a public space here in Lisbon. So we identify tools and a full strategy to engage people, and then we give two options that actually we can still do it using more digital tools and being able to still promote participation for this specific place, but using tools that allow you to stay in this safe distance from people. So we move a lot of the things like local assemblies and stuff like this that we normally do on site, and we move it to digital platforms, for instance. So in the end, we gave this proposal to the municipality, and for us was kind of this moment that, is this stupid or is this actually a way to continue to actually be able to promote something that we think it's necessary? Because otherwise, if we take 1 year to move on from these contacts, then you lose a lot of engagement and this kind of things. So should we stop or should we rethink a little bit? So for us was a very strange but still thrilled moment for us, that should we do it or not, and we did. So for us was quite interesting. Then
this moment in which we doubt if we are crazy, we are stupid, or we are genius, it's happening. It's happening.
We are going to see it in the future, if it was just a stupid thing or if it was actually a genius thing. Then when we were preparing a little bit this first talk, because it's the first one, so we had to prepare it actually quite intensely.
Of course.
As you know, for sure. No, but we bumped into, of course, we met there. We talked already in your urban right declaration. By the time we were doing the urban parliament for Trienal here. So it was 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were searching a little bit on that, and we found this video of Inês Lobo, Portuguese architect here
Ines
from
Lobo.
Inês Lobo from Lisbon, and she was saying by the time that the right to conquer in Lisbon was the proximity to public space, because she was saying that somehow there's a lot of people in Lisbon. They are not close enough from good public space that they can use. And like 7 years now, we are in this moment that somehow your urban rights declarations are somehow revoked. So they are on hold for a bit.
They are on hold, totally. I mean, it's a time to think. Yeah, it's a time to think about the urban rights project. It's a good project. It's been ongoing since 2011. So we still work on the urban rights project. But yeah, it's been revoked. We cannot step into the public space. But maybe it's time now to start debating about the universal home rights, right?
Yes, that was the point that I was trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, no? How things have changed since we can't go out, especially for southern Mediterranean cultures. Because for us, I think that in a way, even though I understand what Inês Lobo was trying to say,
yeah, of course.
but in these cultures that we have a lot of sun, we have a gentle weather. We used also to think that the street it's also a domestic area, no?
Of course, yeah.
You cannot always tell whether it's
like
the street or your domestic. Yeah, it's an extension.
Yeah.
And we don't pay so much attention to our homes. No, I always wonder why in northern cultures, in Anglo-Saxon cultures, I feel that the level of coziness in their homes, of course there are always exceptions, is much higher than in Spain, for sure. In Spain, we don't care so much, I think, about, this is my opinion, about how, this is generalistic, I understand, but
of course.
I don't think we pay so much attention to what we have home, what is the quality of our, the floor, the finishings of our roof, how the light is, do you have contact with plants? Or I don't know, do you have a balcony? Do you have southern orientation? What is the quality of our living spaces? How is our furniture? I don't think we take so much care because we don't spend so much time at home. And now what is important? It's important to see through the window something, to have sunlight, and maybe this is better than
to have like a balcony or something like this.
I have a balcony, and it's amazing to have a balcony. No, I know people that are living in an interior floor, in the first interior floor. So the situation for people has changed a lot, and it doesn't depend so much on the quarter or the place of the city they live. If it's a place where people with a lot of money they live, it doesn't matter if your assets inside your home are not cozy, are not you don't have a livable quality, you don't have the things have changed, no?
Do you think that you should start with the
I read one piece of news.
Rights?
It's true. I mean, I always envy this from the northern cultures. But I just read one piece of news on the internet, which says that the people looking for new properties with garden and terrace have raised about 40%.
Yeah.
So people are already looking for, come on, I've been 1 month in this house. And maybe it's not as good as I think. No? I always think about the built-in lights on the ceiling, which I am very sensible to light, and I need like undirect lightning because it makes me feel more quiet.
Of course, yeah.
And I hate when you have the spotlights on the ceiling are pointing to your eyes, and we have trillions of this in Spain, and it's the worst thing to be at home. So what do you expect? You need more home rights other than, of course, having water, tap water, I mean, current water coming up, other than every room should have a window, of course. But we need to improve, I think, for future conditions, no? And also, it's important, very important, with who are you confined? This is very, very important. Very important.
Yes.
Me, I'm super lucky because I live with my girl and we get along fantastic. We also have a dog, so we have the chance to take her out for a walk. But there are people that are very lonely, that are staying all this month by themselves. People that they don't have a partner maybe, or they have friends, they have a lot of friends, used to go in the street, they have lovers, and now they cannot do anything of that, and no social contact. So,
like, for instance, here,
it's a kind of forced monogamy, you know? It's strange.
Yes.
And also, I want to think about senior people that are struggling in their homes, a lot of senior people that live by themselves. But also, I was thinking about young parents that have children at home, that they have to cope with this labor conciliation, teleworking, online classes with the children, home issues that they cannot, how do they handle? I mean, I think about that. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for any young parent. Imagine to have 1, 2, 3 kids at home. Are you crazy? It's impossible. So now we need, what we need now is to establish some home rights.
And and the home rights are even more deep if you think that on the same city you have different rights for housing. That you have people that doesn't have a house, you have people that have to share their houses, you have people that, for instance, here in Portugal, it's legal to go out, but you should just go out around your house. But then imagine that if there's no proper public space near my house, not even like a nice street, I'm in one position. If there's somebody else, like a friend of mine, that is close to a public park or something like this, he have a completely different right to use the public space and the city. So it's also like this. And then, as you were saying, if you have a balcony or not, if you have like I have a backyard, and I feel that I'm rich somehow in this.
Totally.
I have a
and
backyard.
Maybe your home is not that expensive now.
Yes, exactly. So it goes from this from your room and your house, but also from these places that are in between private and outside semi-private places. That of course, when you go from like social housing that have no balconies, no nothing, to somebody that have like a big backyard with a pool, and or somebody that can go out and go to the public park, then it's the rights
we can say, Ruben, now that the first right for home should be a balcony in every new development from now on.
Yes,
every house should have a balcony at the same level as they have a potable water, drinking water.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that said, there's another topic that we thought to share with you, that somehow it's a strange thing happening, but it actually could be quite positive for the future. That is, there's a lot of this self-promoting citizen new dynamics that somehow everybody is creating their own community neighbors are starting to talk with each other, to help each other. People that support elder people. So these kind of like self-driven movements that are now happening in the city somehow is because people are more aware of their surroundings. So they are more aware of their neighbors, if they need help, if they don't need help. When they go outside, you are more aware of who's using the street and how are they using it. And do you feel that like this should be something that we need to grab and to work in the future, because people were a bit lost in this community sense thing, and now it's on their tip of the toes. They are really anxious to these kind of like things. Or do you think it's just like a moment thing that will then disappear?
No, I think that the situation, of course, is powering all these activities, all these new engagements and new movements, of a lot of solidarity also. But what I think is that a lot of that already existed in the city. In fact, what we say is that the answer, what we think at Zuluark normally, is that the answer to the city, it's already living in the city. You just have to unveil it in a way, not to map them, to make it appear, to make it obvious, and in order to legitimate it, you know. So the future of our cities, it's already the answer to the future of our cities. We think it's already there, and this situation, it's only about showing us this. So I wanted to show you an atlas we made from Zuluark Madrid. It's an atlas of neighbor initiatives that shows there are many of these. I mean, there are three or four.
Can you put closer to the camera? So
yeah.
Go up to see the map.
Sorry, because what I see is not this.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to spread it for you.
It's a full map.
I'm going to say a bad word. It's a full map. So it's a map. It's a map. Do you see it?
Yeah.
It's a map of. It's not from now. It has years now. It's a map of citizen initiatives that are running without any kind
of support,
support or small support, but are of course fostered by people, by normal citizens, no? Yeah. And we have mapped it in order to. This is done also with Matadero Madrid, the cultural center, and also with many people that are working in collaboration with this. But this is an example that if you scratch a little bit, you will find a lot of things
happening
that are already working. That this situation has only powered a little bit, but they were already there, and we believe that it's the future for our cities to map them, to unveil them, and to legitimate. So imagine if we can mix all this knowledge that we have here, made by regular people, by citizens, we can mix them with planners. No, they can learn from each other.
Of course, yes.
Which kind we will live in a because the experts of the city are already living in the city, and we have to know this.
You just have
and this
somehow
COVID situation has only make this evident.
Yeah, now it's visible that people have this ability to self organize themselves and to create their own dynamics there. Of course, but do you feel that that, for instance, like the other day, I was going out with my dog because I have to walk.
You also have a dog.
I also have a dog, and I was thinking that that for sure, like we were saying, that people are now more aware of their houses, if they have a balcony or not. But then I was going out, and there was some people because here in Portugal you can do exercise outside and these things. So I was seeing a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I was seeing people on the streets And I was thinking a little bit like, if the same that is happening to your house is not happening as well to your uh, proximity public space. So you are more aware now of the condition of your nearest public space, because when you go out to your street, for instance, you are not just using the street to go from point A to point B. You are actually now leaving that street completely, because you are. It's the only place that you can actually be. For instance, in Portugal here, it's near your house. So somehow I felt that there's also this awareness of your surroundings goes, of course, from your house, but it goes for your local community, like your neighbors and stuff. But it goes also for your connection with your nearest streets and public spaces. And do you share the same feeling, or that somehow people now are actually aware of what they are doing outside, because they are only allowed to go there for a specific reason, so they actually can see it? And do you think that could change some behaviors in the future, or not?
I don't know. I mean, this is very, very personal, because I'm a little bit fixed now with George Perec, and I'm beginning to, this book by George Perec that it's I don't know how it's in English, but this guy 50 years ago used to step out in the street and write down everything that was going on in the street. I don't know, like an accountant, but very, very specific,
Okay.
And now whenever I go out with my dog, I don't move from my street. I just maybe go around the block, but that's it. Now I am counting the cars. I am counting the persons I see. I'm counting the trees. I'm taking pictures of the colors of the facades in the street. I am counting the gutters. I am counting the how many patches in the street there. So for me, it's a little bit personal, because I'm getting a little bit crazy with
it. It's OCD a little bit.
I wanted to know how deep you can go in counting things in the street.
Yes.
So I cannot answer what people is doing, because I think that people is going out with a little bit afraid.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they are reflecting on how before they were going from point A to point B, and now they can only go to buy food, or to the pharmacy, or for the bread. I don't think if they are reflecting as much as they are a lot afraid, of not getting. But for me, it's totally crazy.
But I feel that, of course, people are not reflecting when they go out. Just that seems like the same that you were saying that you do, that you are more aware. I mean, you live there for a quite time, so you should know already, if you wanted, how many trees you have. But now you have somehow this I don't know, this awareness, I think. So I think it could be interesting, because if in one hand public space is now the enemy, because you cannot go out, or you should not go out, because you cannot catch or pass to somebody the virus. In another hand, when you go out, you are actually aware of what's happening. And I mean, I see myself saying hello to some neighbors and to some people that normally I just passed by. So it's
totally.
Somehow there's especially on the proximity,
it's true.
Proximity.
I say hello to all my neighbors from the other side of the street. Whenever I clap at 8 o'clock, I go out, I see my neighbors, I say hello to everyone. It's great. Now I know my. I think this is something that people are actually being aware of. That they are knowing better their community.
Somehow. Do you think that, like, so for instance, we had in 2007, 2008, we had this financial crisis. Again, Spain, Portugal, Italy, the ones that took it more.
Of course,
hard.
The BRICS.
Yes. Now we are having this.
No, the BRICS. No, the BRICS. No, the PIGS.
The PIGS. Now we are having this
Anglo-Saxons.
This health crisis that is not. Of course, it's affecting the entire world. But do you think that somehow our society is more complex every year that passes, and it's more dependent every year that passes. There's more people living on the cities. There's more dependency of the systems, because if something fails in the system, we don't know how to solve it. Do you think that, so not thinking that there's going to be an Armageddon or whatever, it's not that, but do you think that we have to get used to the fact that we need to keep adapting ourselves to more often answer to crisis moments, especially in Europe, because somehow there's this sense of dependency from each other, like financially, also regarding the mobility, because you can go around and stuff like this. So do you think that somehow we as citizens, but also we as collectives and architects that help to build the city, that we should start to be prepared to be more adaptive, because there's going to be more and more of these moments that could be more serious or less, but still they demand that you adapt to emergency situations, refugees, health, financial, and so on. Probably in a couple of years, digital crisis. I don't know. Do you think that?
Well, I'm afraid we have to get used to this situation in the future. I mean, I don't know if I haven't studied it, but I think that crises are getting closer in time. You know, like first we had this. And now are getting closer and closer and closer until we live in a crisis, you know? So I think we will live in the crisis until we understand that maybe things have to change. So crises are dangerous, but there are also opportunities.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody says always the same, no? So I don't know. We can put this in this kind of SWOT diagram, you know, SWOT diagram, like strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats terms, no? Like, we could make the diagram. I mean, there are threats and weakness, like, threats and weakness, are the negative, of course, and opportunities and strengths are the positive. But, opportunities and threats come from outside, and threats and weakness, they come from inside. So in terms of threats and weakness, I think that there is a lot of danger that people begin to fall for populist and nationalist messages, you know, fear from the outside, or praising security, restrictions of movements. People, I think, if this leads to economic depression, I don't know how it's going to be. I'm afraid also that people become paranoid with being close to each other, and this will happen, I think, if we have a lack of resilience and we have a lack of self-esteem as a community. This do
you think, as for instance, Zuluark as an architect's office, do you think that, for instance, these crisis moments, they are proving that actually to be able to give a better city or projects to the city response, you need to more and more lose the sense of what I'm going to draw or what I'm going to help people drawing. It's not going to be like this, like for 100 years, because actually every 5 years everything is changing. There's new behaviors. There's so this idea, like that I was taught in university, and probably you as well, that you design something that will stay forever and have to be perfect, blah 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 blah. You have to know the future because you are somehow genius. This is actually proving that it's it's a big lie, because things are, as you're saying, things are going really really fast. So as we are all basically living in the cities now, the cities are the places that you see that things happening, that the change happening really fast. So do you think that this is like, from the technical or the architect perspective, this is proving that actually we should be more flexible on our drawings and our...
I think we should be more diverse. So imagine, I mean, we are, the crisis also means that we are doing all the same. We are all supposed to do the same things, the same hours, the same works, the same profit. But we and something has changed since we understood. I mean, I was reading the other day a text by Bruno Latour, and he was saying that we have proved that we can stop the world, we can stop this always economical rising, we can stop the cars, we can stop the planes, we can make it go a little bit slower, no? And the world doesn't fall apart. I mean, of course, there is a crisis and there is a lot of things very bad going on, but I think we have we have the proof that we can do things in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that we have to end with what we don't like. It means that we have to give the chance for many ways of understanding life. I think and this means that architecture should be as it was like 100 years ago, but it should be also something totally different. Who cares? I mean, we need to understand that the revenue for our work should come in many ways. No? People are not wanting to stick to a job for 40 years now.
Yeah.
This is a fact. No, so let's translate this way of thinking to everything. We need to be not different but diverse. Make the context as flexible as possible, so that anyone can develop himself or herself as they want. I don't know if I actually,
totally
agree.
But I think that we totally agree. Sometimes, you know, that when you somehow respond to the same architecture problems than other offices in a different way, sometimes, especially on the young students, they kind of everybody should be like this or like that, and we actually say that no, actually the problem is that we all want to be the same. There should be space and different responses to different problems, to different approaches. The diversity, as you were saying, that's where the answer is not actually on trying to be all the same and doing exactly the same. Because
it doesn't. I mean, we don't have to switch for total. I mean, capitalistic way in a way, capitalistic in a way of saying, not to suddenly we all have to move to the countryside.
Yeah,
because
of
this
course.
will be totally stressing also for the territory. But let's make social tissue that can hold everyone inside, can give the opportunity to anyone to develop.
True. Well, I finished my beer, Manu. So I think.
Oh, you had a beer? I didn't have one.
I told you.
I will take one now.
I told you beer. I mean,
yeah, you
now
told me.
It's finished. It was a black one. So I think that we are almost being kicked out by Instagram. So
really?
Yes, it's. I think they cut us after 1 hour, so it's almost there.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much to Colectivo.
Thank you as well.
Warehouse Collective.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It's been great. It's also a learning experience for me because I was not used to do this kind of stuff.
For us as well.
Which means that I didn't have to take a plane to go there and maybe speak in the university for 50 people because the 50 people are already watching through Instagram. Yeah. And
50 more people.
This is a good lesson.
No, yeah, for us it was as well the first time. I mean, Warehouse we started doing stories a couple of months ago. So
look at this, Estrella Galicia. Boom, the best in the world. I am sorry for everyone, but this is the best.
Cheers with you. Just lots.
Cheers for everyone. Boom.
And thank you
very much.
50 to 60 people watching.
Thank you.
Next Thursday we'll be here again. So Manu,
I will be here from the other side.
Send some comments. I'm not going to tell already who's coming, but you know them, so you can prepare your comments.
And congratulations for this initiative. It's great.
Thank you.
We need to do this, and it's a lot of work. You don't know. It's a lot of work to do. I mean,
let's start.
You don't know until you start doing how much work it is to build something that it looks simple, but it's quite a lot of work at the end.
Well, luckily we have...
So thank you. A big hug for everyone there.
Yes.
And we hope to physically hug soon, and kiss each other. True. Don't be afraid.
Promise. It's a promise. And thank you for the other 5 warehouse members that helped me put up this and to start this. It's just my...
I want to thank you also to the Zuluar community that have been watching and commenting to the people on Instagram. So thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay well, okay?
Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.